Alright, so here are some recordings, and here's something that I came from yesterday, and I had to do a recording on this. And this is on one of my favorite artists, Shaggy, and he talks some real truth, but I kind of want to give my own perspective, and let's go. So, racism plays a role in music, says Shaggy, but urge stakeholders not to dwell on it. Platinum-selling Grammy Award-winning dancehall artist or reggae artist Shaggy believes that racism has played a huge role in the success or lack thereof of Jamaican music, or as best in Jamaica's music industry, not dwell on it. Okay, then, yeah, I'll weigh in on that particular statement at the end. Shaggy, one of the panelists at the Jamaica Music Conference's Reggae Month panel discussion, which aired on Sunday on PBC Jamaica and other land platforms. Quote, quote, the biggest reggae bands right now are the white bands, and had the biggest tickets the biggest sales. You're sitting there yourself and saying, what is it that they're doing that we're not? This is nothing new, but let's go on. Now, let's face it, anybody sitting here thinks that racism doesn't play a part in it, you're mad, you're sick. Declared Shaggy was scored hits such as It Wasn't Me, Bombastic, and Angel. He stated, if you look at this history of what reggae has done, in tech, for instance, the band Police, Sting said to me, he used to sit and watch Steel Pulse as well, Bob Marley's Menzers back in the days. And yeah, I'm just translating English version. I can't be bothered to do it in patois. Maybe it's laziness, but it's just like this particular part isn't the significant thing. But it said Shaggy noted although Police did great in music, massive the fact that they got rid because you're white. Of course, you think about the biggest reggae band, UB40, Ace of Base, they're all white reggae bands. Look at somebody like a Cali Buds who probably play more festival on Gramps Morgan's, more hits than him. Look at the great Bob Marley and his Trappers I Shot the Sheriff, which he did a cover of. So don't think it's not part, but we should not dwell on it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to add a little criticism about that part of the statement. Alright. Okay. Today engaging artist Shaggy Pearl. All of us out of Jamaica are light skinned. Shaggy, Bob Marley, Sean Paul, and so on. He's basically talking about the colorism factor, which is part offshoot of racism. Alright, okay, and so on. And so on. And he basically says that despite others' racism, we have to keep pushing on. And I'll give him credit there. I mean, like that's pretty much in the article now. I must say, shout to Shaggy. He talks some real shit though. He point out something that has been known for decades now about racism in music when it comes to black artists. Whether it's hip hop, rap, reggae, dancehall, most black oriented, dominated forms of music, we get gentrified. And that's not new. And the thing is, like, and what he's talking about is, again, it's nothing that we don't already know. Because remember, this happened with Snow in the 90s, where, Snow, dancehall, hip hop artist from Toronto, he did Informer, and 90s, and he was getting almost as much billing as many other notable dancehall reggae artists around that time. And yeah, he was basically considered the Vanilla Ice of dancehall, so to speak. And if you say we're doing hip hop and rap, like you had Vanilla Ice himself, you had Eminem, who's one of the main non-black rappers who are in the dominant society, who's been elevated. And again, not really a diss to Snow per se. He's a good artist, and Eminem, I give him props, but yeah, what Shaggy said is nothing new, and yeah, that racism thing, that's always been there. Now, the issue I kind of criticism I do have what Shaggy said was that we can't dwell on it. No, because and I don't mean sense that, okay, we ruminate on it, get bitter, and then do nothing. Yeah, what we need to do is say, we acknowledge racism. What we're going to do about it to ensure to neutralize that racism. That was kind of the thing I had with criticism. I had with Shaggy's statement is like, yeah, we can't dwell on it. Yeah, no. If that racism is still there, it still affects us in a major, especially with our dollars or money. Yeah, we do have to dwell on it, but the problem what we're doing is that we're not thinking of solutions or implementing those solutions. We're not saying, okay, we know some of these media platforms are run by people in the dominant society who just consider black artists as slaves on a plantation, like we do all the dirty work and they reap all the benefits and then they leave us breadcrumbs, and then I mean, we can kiss our teeth, we can grumble and complain, but if we're not really saying, hey, let's get off the plantation, let's burn that bitch down instead, yeah, that's just basically, it's just basically saying, you're staying in an abusive relationship and you're not doing anything to leave that relationship or defend yourself or take down your abuser. Yeah, that is kind of what the thing I kind of criticism I do have with Shaggy's statement is that Shaggy's not saying what are we going to do about these racist execs, these people at these record companies who have this biasness, who work in the machine. How are we going to expose them? How are we going to make sure that they don't eat off of us, our hard work, and that we create and replace and create our own black centered platform where we have people, black execs who aren't coons, to be I might add, who are going to be elevating us. We're not really going on that tip though. We're just content to say, hey, let this racist infrastructure stay as it is, and then we can grumble and complain while we're still taking abuse. That is kind of the criticism I do have, as I said, as that Shaggy's not saying what are the solutions, what are we going to do to neutralize the racism within the industry, like what are we going to do to ensure that those who practice that racism more in high places are going to be thrown out and replaced with people who are not racist. Because the thing is, it's just like saying, hey, you're in a area with a pack of wolves that are picking off everybody, and it's just saying, hey, there are a pack of wolves that are devouring us at every chance they get. We shouldn't dwell on it. I mean, we should just we should be very cautious and careful to not get devoured by those wolves, instead of saying, okay, how are we going to get rid of these wolves so they don't keep devouring us? Yeah, that is the kind of talk Shaggy should be saying, is that, hey, we should be leading the charge to say, how are we going to destroy the racism and get rid of the racism with the industry in the long term? Now, bear in mind, Shaggy is not going to say that out loud, because Shaggy, he don't want to mess up his money, and he knows that, hey, if we say, hey, this so and so exec who put some of these white artists on the top, and these promoters and these people within the machine who are helping this apparatus, yeah, these are so and so's names. We should be getting them out to these positions. Yeah, Shaggy knows that, hey, I'm not trying to really mess up my money like that. I don't want to get blackballed, or in the best worst case scenario, I don't want like this a Me Too type scandal. Because believe me, some people say, okay, Shaggy's getting out of pocket. Shaggy's actually wants to actually fight racism within industry head on, not just give lip services. Okay, let's just give him the Bill Cosby treatment. Let's just say, hey, we're just gonna have this nice little scandal or whatever dirt we can get on him, just to put him in line, just to show these other niggers that, hey, don't get caught trying to raise your hand against Massa. Okay, Bill best believe there's going to be consequences if you think that you're going to try and incite a slave rebellion on the plantation. Yeah, that I mean, I understand that's Shaggy's position, that Shaggy doesn't really want to mess up his money, but again, but the thing is, I said, he spoke some truisms, which is good. Again, there's no solutions. I'm just noting there's no solutions as to deal with the racism within the industry. There's no solution saying, okay, how are we going to put the people who practices racism on blast, and that we're going to get them removed from the poll. And the most important thing, and this is with the black collective, this is not just reggae dancehall ever. The black collective basically have decided that, hey, we want to be a part of the system. The system, its infrastructure, should stay as it is. I mean, we just want to get better treatment in this infrastructure. We're not saying let's burn this down proverbially and let's start from scratch. That's what I would have led with, but that's kind of my thing what Shaggy said though, and that's pretty much it. So it's for State of Jamaica in the Caribbean. Check out my YouTube pages, Miles Goose and Fern, Miles Productions with Thoughts and Miles. Alright.